Alright, here's another neat way to do this, and you would do this exactly like you would do your compound on your lathe. If you're cutting a 60-degree thread, you set your compound at 29.5, 30 degrees in order to reduce cutting pressure. Well, this is the same principle. I've just tilted my head 15 degrees. This is a 30-degree V, and now I'll basically just be cutting on the tip of the tool and on this one leading edge that runs me or in the direction that the compound's moving. The only downfall to this method is that you don't get a direct reading on your dials now that your compound's set off 90 degrees. That's easy enough to figure out, and a method that would work just fine, especially if you was using a smaller shaper that wasn't as rigid as this machine is. It'd be great. So let me move the table over. We will cut this one and see how it acts. I haven't cut one like this on this machine, and see how it performs. To be at 90 degrees, because this is basically acting like I'm doing a karting operation. So still want the clapper set at 90, the compound set at half the angle, half the 30 degrees of my rack. Watch how that tool traces out of there. Coming off to the side, just following that farthest edge. So it's really only cutting on the very tip and this side here. It's definitely a good way. I don't know about you, but I think it looks pretty good. That's my practice piece for my practice piece. Pretty happy with that. I think I like the compound at the angle better. Just felt like it was less pressure, because it really was. So I think that's the way I'm going to do my piece here. So that'll be next. So shaft is cut to size. And what we like to do is cut the teeth on it. Of course, put the detent groove in it, and cut the flat on it that it requires. And it fits good. And it won't stick in there like that when it's got the flat cut, but I think that fits about as good as you could ask. So I'm happy with that. Now it's very possible that when I cut the flat on this and the gear teeth, that this shaft could warp. You know, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But you know, it is a possibility. We'll be removing quite a bit of material from just one side. There we go. Let's get set up in the shaper, I guess. Okay, I've got both shafts on the surface plate here, the one we just cut, and then the old broken one. And because my compound on my shaper, I'm going to be cutting these teeth at a 15-degree angle. It's just the least pressure involved way to cut these rack teeth. But because it's moving at an angle, the starting position, finding the starting position of these is a little more tricky than just finding the center of the tooth or the center of the groove or whatever and starting there. So I know that once I cut this flat here, that my cutter will come down and it'll start right at the leading edge or the far edge of the top of this first tooth. So I set this shaft up on the surface plate. I brought my height gauge over and found that level, and I brought it over and transferred it to my new shaft. Now that way I know that once I cut to my final depth, my tooth will be in the same position as the original shaft. Now this is not a super critical operation. You could probably move these, you know, 1/8 of an inch either way, this rack on this shaft, and it wouldn't make any difference because you know the handle is adjustable. But long as it, you know, we just want to get it really, really close, and this is a decent way to do that. I mean, it's not going to be probably to the thousandth, but it'll be really, really close. So that's all I care about, as long as it works and operates the way that it should. So let's go over to the shaper. Let's set this in the vise and cut her flat, and then put our gear teeth in it, or our rack teeth. Well, let's get this shaft in here and make sure it's set in parallel. I'm also trying out the new small GoPro here, and I'm going to get this indicator down here and get you on it, and we'll make sure that our shaft here is set in parallel. And this is a pretty, well, it's fairly critical that it be tight and true. You know, not a crazy amount of pressure involved here, but enough to where I want to make sure it doesn't move. So 0 or 10th indicator here, and then just by hand move our table across just to make sure we're good. And I would say that is plenty good. That's, what is that? 8/10 over the entire length of the shaft. So I'll take that. And I'm going to switch my cutters here and get to something that I can run across and make our flat, and then we'll cut our gear teeth, and that's probably as far as we're going to get in this video. So I'm running out of time, like always. Alright, we're running about 64 strokes a minute on a 3-inch stroke. And we're just going to make, I'm going to make 2 passes across here, one roughing and one finishing. Standard procedure. Taking it easy. No first cut's going to be 70 thousandths. Then I'll get my desired measurement after that. So I just cut the flat on this. I mean, that's basic. And I'm going to tilt this head the 15 degrees that I need in order to cut the rack teeth on it. I'm just using the combination head. I mean, you can use the graduations on the side too, but this works. Tighten this down, and we got to set up our clapper and our tool. The clapper, we want it 90 degrees. So I'm just going to use square here off the vise. It's going to be close enough. Clapper 90. And now change the tool. I'm still, I'm filming with 2 cameras right now. A GoPro, like I showed a little bit earlier, at least some footage of it. It's a GoPro Hero 3 that was given to me by a viewer, so I really appreciate that. I'm still working on the settings and stuff, trying to get the image that I want, and it seems like they're pretty sensitive to light. So, and I've got a GoPro 7 coming also. This is a 3+ black, so we'll have a 7 soon. So I'm looking forward to learning to use that. That'll allow me to get some good moving shots. I'm just gonna set this tool up by hand. Just running. It's got a good flat on the front that I can feel. And I've touched all this up on the cutter grinder, so it's definitely an accurate tool. So that's it. Clapper at 15, or compound at 15, clapper at 90 because it acts, like I said, like a parting operation. And I'm going to set up my tool like I showed on the surface plate, just lining it up with the mark that I made. And that should make the tooth end up in the proper position. Close enough for this job anyway. Just line that up. And there we go. That is our starting position. So let's get this thing fired up and cut this rack. We got 12 teeth to cut. Be the first one. Check its depth. This compound up out of the way. Just checking it with a little general depth gauge. Filling burrs, but check for burrs. That's it. So you get set up with a dial indicator and move the table over, and we'll cut the next one. should work. Looks pretty good. Hopefully the shaft doesn't work. we go. Let's clean it up and look at it. Got it cleaned up, and I think that turned out pretty nice. And I checked it, just set it on the plate, and you know, looked up under it. There's no light, and it looks like it didn't warp, so I'm happy with that. And man, that turned out better than I expected, to be honest. I'm still not crazy about this material, but I think it will probably be just fine. And next week we'll have to figure out a way to get this thing pinned back in the original hole. Now that may be a little testing. I'll probably have to use my tapered pin as a guide, set it up, you know, get it everything lined up, and then rig it up in the milling machine. That's the thought anyway. But you know, long way to go still. We got to make our cut for our spring detent and pin it to the shaft, pin our fork in. So still a long way to go. But I'm happy with that. That turned out really nice. Let's do a quick fit in the machine, and then you know we'll call it. All right. I mean that fits great, and should be just fine. And it's nice. That much closer. Still a little ways to go, but I'm pretty pleased with that. It's the first rack I ever cut. Well, that has turned out, I mean, as good as I could expect. The only thing that it's lacking is a little on the finish side. And I'll take that. There's still a lot to do. Got to cut our recess for our spring detent, drill our off-center hole for the little roller in here, and press that pin back in. And then try to line everything up and get this tapered pin back through this shaft and through the original hole. That may be a little tough, but I got an idea that it may work. You know, I don't know, we'll see how far we get. I'm going on a hunting trip with my son, you know, this weekend, so you know, next week's video may be short, maybe real short. We'll see. But this video is not short. It's gotten completely out of hand, like always, and I've cobbled together what I can for you. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. All my viewers, patrons, and subscribers, you guys are awesome. Thanks for the GoPro 3. I really appreciate that. And like always, if you need anything, contact me through my email. Don't rely on the comments to get a hold of me. And hit the bell for notifications. Click on my guy to subscribe. And I'll see you next time.
Like a bird on a tree,